In Buddhism, respect is a fundamental principle, both for oneself and others. In the Dhammapada, a collection of the Buddha's teachings, it is stated, "Respect yourself and others will respect you." This simple yet profound statement highlights the interconnectedness of self-respect and respect from others. While external factors can certainly contribute to disrespect, sometimes the way we conduct ourselves can inadvertently invite it. By examining our own habits and cultivating positive qualities like kindness, compassion, and self-awareness, we can create stronger and more fulfilling relationships. As the Buddha famously said, "The mind is everything. What you think you become." This powerful quote embodies the core principle of Buddhism. Our thoughts, words, and actions shape our reality and influence how others perceive us. On our journey towards personal growth and liberation, it's crucial to be mindful of the habits we cultivate. While some behaviors naturally attract respect, others can invite disrespect and hinder our relationships. Let's delve into 7 such habits that, according to Buddhist teachings, can negatively impact how others perceive us. But before we get started, hit that subscribe button. We can build a more resilient community. 1. Complaining. Nobody enjoys being around someone who constantly complains and focuses on the negative. This negativity can be draining and create a sense of dissatisfaction in others, leading to a lack of respect. In the teachings of the Buddha, we are encouraged to cultivate positive qualities like mindfulness, compassion, and generosity. One of the most fundamental aspects of these qualities is fostering respect for ourselves and others. While it's natural to experience frustration and disappointment in life, dwelling on negativity and constantly complaining can have a detrimental impact on ourselves and those around us. This negativity can be draining, create a sense of dissatisfaction, and ultimately lead to a lack of respect. Constant negativity is contagious, and it can significantly impact the atmosphere of any interaction. It can make us feel uncomfortable, dissatisfied, and even resentful towards the person who is complaining. It's important to acknowledge that complaining often stems from genuine feelings of frustration, disappointment, or even stress. Sometimes venting can be a way to release these emotions and seek support. However, when complaining becomes a habitual pattern, it can become a barrier to finding solutions and cultivating a positive outlook. I can vividly recall a time when I was struggling with the pressure of deadlines and feeling overwhelmed at work. I found myself constantly complaining to my colleagues about my workload, the long hours, and the lack of appreciation. While they initially listened patiently, I noticed a shift in their demeanor over time. They seemed less enthusiastic to engage in conversation, and I could sense a slight distance growing between us. One day, a colleague gently pointed out how my constant complaining was affecting the team morale. It was a wake-up call. I realized that my negativity was not only impacting my own well-being, but also creating a negative environment for others. This experience served as a turning point for me. I began to consciously shift my focus from the negative aspects of my situation to the positive ones. I started expressing gratitude for the opportunities I had, acknowledging the support of my colleagues, and focusing on finding solutions to the challenges I faced. The change was gradual, but the impact was significant. My colleagues seemed more engaged and supportive, and the overall team atmosphere improved. I also felt a personal sense of empowerment and a renewed sense of optimism. The Buddha's teachings remind us that our thoughts and actions have consequences. By consciously choosing to focus on the positive aspects of our lives and expressing gratitude for what we have, we cultivate a more positive mindset. This shift in perspective not only benefits our own well-being, but also fosters respect and creates a more harmonious environment for everyone around us. By cultivating mindfulness, self-awareness, and a commitment to positive communication, we can create stronger and more fulfilling connections with others. Remember, respect is a two-way street. By treating others with kindness, compassion, and understanding, we pave the way for receiving the same in return. 2. Gossiping and negativity about others. Engaging in gossip and negativity about others reflects poorly on us. It shows a lack of integrity and can damage trust and respect within relationships. In the pursuit of building strong and harmonious relationships, we must be mindful of the words we choose and the way we speak about others. Engaging in gossip and negativity about others reflects poorly on ourselves and can have a detrimental impact on the very connections we seek to cultivate. Most of us have encountered the sting of gossip and negativity. It can be incredibly hurtful and damaging to both the person being talked about and the overall atmosphere within a group. When we engage in this behavior, we create a sense of distrust and negativity that can have a ripple effect, impacting not only the target of the gossip, but also those who participate or listen. It's important to acknowledge that the tendency to engage in gossip often stems from a combination of factors. Sometimes it may be a way to feel connected to others, to share a sense of belonging within a group. In other cases, it may be driven by insecurity or a desire to feel superior to others. Rumors and negative talk can damage the reputation of the person being talked about and create conflict within relationships. When we engage in gossip, we erode the trust within our communities and make it difficult to build genuine connections. When gossip and negativity become the norm, it creates a toxic environment that can be detrimental to everyone involved. The teachings of Buddhism emphasize the importance of mindful speech and compassionate communication. By choosing our words carefully and avoiding negativity about others, we can foster a more respectful and harmonious environment. Before speaking, we should pause and consider the impact of our words. Ask ourselves if what we are about to say is true, kind, and necessary. Instead of dwelling on negativity, we can actively choose to focus on positive aspects of others and engage in conversations that uplift and inspire. If someone is engaging in gossip or negativity, we can politely but firmly set boundaries and refuse to participate. By actively listening to others and seeking to understand their perspectives, we can create a more compassionate and supportive environment. By cultivating respectful communication and avoiding gossip and negativity, we can build a foundation of respect and trust within our relationships and communities. This conscious effort to choose our words carefully and promote positive interactions ultimately leads to a more harmonious and compassionate world where everyone feels valued and respected. The words we choose have the power to build bridges or create walls. By choosing to speak with kindness and understanding, we can cultivate a more positive and respectful environment for ourselves and those around us. 3. Being overly critical and judgmental. Constantly criticizing and judging others creates a hostile environment. It makes people feel uncomfortable and disrespected and can damage relationships. In the pursuit of personal growth and harmonious relationships, we must be mindful of the habits that inadvertently chip away at respect and connection. One such habit, often subtle yet potent, is the tendency to be overly critical and judgmental. Constantly criticizing and judging others creates a hostile environment. It makes people feel uncomfortable and disrespected and can ultimately damage relationships. This negativity can be like a slow poison, eroding trust and creating a sense of insecurity and defensiveness. When we are constantly criticized or judged, it creates a sense of discomfort and insecurity. We feel undervalued and unseen, our efforts and contributions seemingly overshadowed by a focus on our shortcomings. This can lead to a breakdown in communication, a reluctance to share openly, and ultimately, a weakening of the relationship. It's important to acknowledge that the tendency to be overly critical often stems from our own insecurities and anxieties. When we feel threatened or insecure, we may resort to criticizing others as a way to boost our own sense of worth or deflect attention from our perceived shortcomings. However, while the reasons behind judgment may be complex, the impact it has on others is undeniable. It creates a climate of negativity and distrust, hindering collaboration, creativity, and the potential for genuine connection. The teachings of Buddhism emphasize the importance of compassion and understanding. By shifting our perspective from judgment to empathy, we can create a more positive and supportive environment for ourselves and others. Instead of focusing on the perceived flaws and shortcomings of others, we can choose to acknowledge their strengths and positive qualities. Everyone has something valuable to offer, and focusing on the positive aspects of others can foster appreciation and connection. Offer constructive feedback with kindness and respect. When providing feedback, it's crucial to do so in a way that is specific, actionable, and delivered with genuine concern for the other person's growth. Focus on our own growth and development. Instead of projecting our insecurities onto others, we can redirect our energy towards self-reflection and personal growth. By working on our own flaws and limitations, we can cultivate a more positive and compassionate outlook. By cultivating compassion and understanding, we can create a more positive and supportive environment for ourselves and those around us. This shift in perspective not only strengthens our relationships, but also contributes to a more harmonious and compassionate world. We all have the potential to be both critical and compassionate. By choosing the compassionate, we can build stronger connections, foster collaboration, and create a world where everyone feels valued and respected. 4. Interrupting and not listening. Failing to listen actively and interrupting others shows a lack of respect and consideration. It can make people feel unheard and unimportant, leading to a breakdown in communication and respect. In our daily interactions, we often underestimate the power of listening. While expressing our thoughts and ideas is important, truly listening to others is equally crucial for building strong and respectful relationships. Unfortunately, the habit of interrupting and not actively listening can be a significant barrier to effective communication and can erode respect within our interactions. It can be incredibly disheartening and can send the message that our thoughts and feelings are not valued. When we are constantly interrupted, it creates a sense of disconnection and can lead to a breakdown in communication. It's important to acknowledge that interrupting often stems from good intentions. We might be excited to share our own thoughts, eager to contribute to the conversation, or simply struggling to focus and stay present in the moment. However, regardless of the intention, the impact of interrupting can be detrimental to building respectful and meaningful connections. The teachings of Buddhism emphasize the importance of mindfulness and mindful communication. By actively listening to others, we demonstrate respect, create a safe space for open dialogue, and foster deeper understanding. When someone is speaking, we should put away distractions, make eye contact, and focus solely on their words and body language. This shows genuine interest and allows us to fully absorb their message. Resist the urge to interrupt and allow the speaker to finish their thought. Rushing to share our own ideas can lead to misunderstandings and prevent us from truly comprehending what the other person is saying. If something is unclear or we need further information, we can ask thoughtful questions to ensure we understand the speaker's perspective. This demonstrates active engagement and shows genuine interest in their thoughts and feelings. To show that we have been listening attentively, we can summarize the speaker's main points and ask if our understanding is accurate. This allows for clarification and demonstrates that we value their communication. By consciously choosing to listen actively and avoid interrupting, we can create a more respectful and harmonious environment for ourselves and those around us. This shift in communication style fosters trust, understanding, and collaboration, ultimately leading to stronger and more fulfilling relationships. Listening is not just about being quiet, it's about actively engaging with the speaker, demonstrating respect for their thoughts and feelings, and creating a space for meaningful connection. 5. Breaking promises and commitments. When you consistently break promises and commitments, you erode trust and respect. This can damage relationships and make it difficult for others to rely on us. In the tapestry of human connection, trust is the golden thread that binds us together. It allows us to rely on each other, feel safe and supported, and navigate the complexities of life with a sense of shared understanding. However, this delicate thread can be easily frayed by the careless act of breaking promises and commitments. When we consistently fail to keep our word, we erode trust and respect within our relationships. This can have a significant impact, leading to feelings of disappointment, resentment, and ultimately a breakdown in connection. It can be deeply hurtful and can leave us feeling undervalued and disregarded. When someone repeatedly breaks their word, it sends the message that our time, feelings, and expectations are not important. This can lead to a sense of insecurity and a reluctance to rely on them in the future. It's important to acknowledge that breaking promises often stems from a combination of factors. Sometimes unforeseen circumstances arise, making it difficult to fulfill our commitments. Other times we may underestimate the time or effort required, leading to procrastination and missed deadlines. However, regardless of the reason, the impact of broken promises remains the same. It creates a sense of unreliability and erodes the foundation of trust within our relationships. The teachings of Buddhism emphasize the importance of honesty and integrity. By keeping our word and honoring our commitments, we demonstrate respect for ourselves and others and foster a sense of trust and reliability within our relationships. Here are some ways we can cultivate a culture of integrity. Make mindful promises. Before making a commitment, we should carefully consider our ability to follow through. It's better to decline or postpone a request than to make a promise we know we might not be able to keep. Communicate openly and honestly. If unforeseen circumstances arise and prevent us from fulfilling a commitment, we should communicate openly and honestly with the other person. Explain the situation, apologize for the inconvenience, and offer to reschedule or find an alternative solution. Take responsibility for our actions. When we break a promise, it's important to take responsibility for our actions. We should sincerely apologize for the disappointment caused and demonstrate a genuine commitment to doing better in the future. Focus on building trust over time. Trust is not built overnight. It takes consistent effort and a commitment to keeping our word. By demonstrating reliability and integrity in our daily interactions, we gradually build trust and strengthen our relationships. By consciously choosing to keep our promises and honoring our commitments, we contribute to a more trustworthy and respectful environment for ourselves and those around us. This foundation of trust allows us to build stronger relationships, collaborate more effectively, and navigate life's challenges with a sense of shared understanding and support. Keeping our word is not just about fulfilling obligations. It's about demonstrating respect, fostering trust, and building a foundation for genuine connection. 6. Lack of self-awareness and self-control. Being unaware of our own behavior and emotions can lead to disrespectful actions and words. It's important to be mindful of how our actions and words impact others. In the pursuit of building strong and respectful relationships, self-awareness plays a crucial role. It allows us to understand our own thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, and how they impact others. However, when we lack self-awareness and self-control, we can inadvertently engage in actions and words that can be hurtful and disrespectful, leading to a breakdown in trust and connection. Think back to a time when we interacted with someone who seemed unaware of their own behavior. Perhaps it was a colleague who constantly made offensive jokes, a friend who frequently interrupted others, or even a family member who displayed anger outbursts without acknowledging the impact on those around them. How did it make us feel? Did we feel disrespected or uncomfortable? Did we find it difficult to connect with them authentically? Most of us have encountered individuals who lack self-awareness. It can create a sense of unease and make it challenging to navigate interactions with them. When we are unaware of our own behavior and its impact, we can unintentionally cause harm and damage relationships. It's important to acknowledge that the lack of self-awareness often stems from a combination of factors. Sometimes we may be so caught up in our own thoughts and emotions that we fail to consider how they affect others. In other cases, we may have ingrained habits and patterns of behavior that we haven't consciously examined. However, regardless of the reason, the consequences of lacking self-awareness can be significant. It can lead to hurtful words and actions. When we are unaware of the impact of our words and actions, we can inadvertently say or do things that are offensive or disrespectful to others. Without self-awareness, it becomes difficult to understand the perspectives and feelings of others, leading to misinterpretations and conflict. When we lack self-control and awareness of our emotions, it can be challenging for others to trust us and feel safe in our presence. The teachings of Buddhism emphasize the importance of mindfulness and introspection. By cultivating self-awareness and self-control, we can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and how we interact with the world around us. This allows us to build stronger and more respectful relationships. Here are some ways we can cultivate self-awareness. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness involves paying attention to the present moment without judgment. By observing our thoughts, feelings, and sensations without getting caught up in them, we can gain valuable insights into our patterns of behavior. Seek feedback. Actively seeking feedback from trusted friends, colleagues, or family members can provide valuable insights into how we come across to others. This feedback can help us identify areas where we may need to improve our self-awareness and self-control. Reflect on our actions. Taking time to reflect on our interactions and the impact of our words and actions allows us to learn from our experiences and make conscious changes for the future. Develop emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence involves understanding and managing our own emotions, as well as recognizing and responding to the emotions of others. This skill can help us navigate difficult situations with greater awareness and empathy. By cultivating self-awareness and self-control, we can create a foundation for respectful interactions and build stronger, more meaningful relationships. This journey of self-discovery allows us to understand ourselves better, navigate our emotions with greater awareness, and ultimately treat others with kindness and respect. Self-awareness is a continuous process. By actively engaging in self-reflection and seeking feedback, we can gain valuable insights into ourselves and become more conscious of our impact on others. 7. Self-absorption and lack of empathy. When we are solely focused on ourselves and lack empathy for others, it can be perceived as disrespectful. It shows a lack of interest in understanding and connecting with others. In the intricate tapestry of human connection, empathy acts as the golden thread that binds us together. It allows us to step outside ourselves, see the world through another's eyes, and connect with them on a deeper level. However, when we become self-absorbed and lack empathy, we create a barrier to genuine connection and can inadvertently display disrespect towards others. Think back to a time when we interacted with someone who seemed solely focused on themselves. Perhaps it was a friend who constantly talked about their own problems without asking about ours, a colleague who dominated conversations with their achievements, or even a family member who showed little interest in our life and experiences. How did it make us feel? Did we feel unseen and unheard? Did we find it difficult to connect with them authentically? Most of us have encountered individuals who exhibit self-absorption and lack empathy. This can create a sense of isolation and disconnection, making it challenging to build meaningful relationships. When we are solely focused on ourselves and fail to consider the perspectives and feelings of others, we inadvertently convey a message of indifference and disrespect. It's important to acknowledge that self-absorption often stems from a combination of factors. Sometimes, we may be facing personal challenges that consume our attention, leading us to neglect the needs of others. In other cases, it may be a result of ingrained patterns of behavior or a lack of awareness of how our actions impact others. However, regardless of the reason, the consequences of lacking empathy can be significant. It can lead to emotional isolation. When we fail to connect with others on an emotional level, we can feel isolated and disconnected from the world around us. Without empathy, it becomes difficult to understand the perspectives and feelings of others, leading to misinterpretations and conflict. When we lack empathy and genuine interest in others, it can be challenging for them to trust us and feel safe in our presence. The teachings of Buddhism emphasize the importance of compassion and understanding. By cultivating empathy and actively listening to others, we can build stronger and more respectful relationships. Here are some ways we can cultivate empathy. Practice active listening. When someone is speaking, we should give them our full attention and focus on understanding their perspective. This involves making eye contact, asking clarifying questions, and avoiding interrupting. Consider the other person's feelings. Before speaking or acting, we should take a moment to consider how our words and actions might impact the other person. This involves putting ourselves in their shoes and trying to see the situation from their perspective. Engage in acts of kindness and generosity. By offering help and support to others, we can demonstrate our care and concern for their well-being. This can be as simple as offering a listening ear, volunteering our time, or simply performing small acts of kindness. By cultivating empathy and actively listening to others, we can build a foundation for respectful connection and strengthen our relationships. This journey of self-discovery allows us to understand the perspectives and feelings of others, connect with them on a deeper level, and ultimately treat them with kindness and respect. Empathy is a muscle that requires continuous exercise. By actively engaging in practices that cultivate understanding and compassion, we can create a more harmonious and respectful world where everyone feels seen, heard, and valued. By being mindful of these habits and actively working to cultivate positive qualities like kindness, compassion, and respect, we can create stronger and more fulfilling relationships. Remember, the journey to earning respect often begins with self-reflection and a commitment to personal growth.